So we are here in the Web and Travel studio, the WiT Studio, with Johnny Thorsen, Vice President, Strategy and Partnerships at Spotnana. Give us a quick introduction of yourself, and what your role is, what your role entails.
So I'm responsible for strategy and partnerships in Spotnana, and it's a very wide-ranging role. Because we are relatively new to the industry, we are 2.5 years old, and we are trying to do a number of things. So there's a lot of kind of strategic work and positioning going on right now. And I would say at the moment, it's probably more about being almost an ambassador for Spotnana to the wider travel industry,
Right.
And explain what we're trying to do and create these strategic relationships, which then lead to kind of the partnership opportunities. And for us, partnership is really a combination of obviously working with customers, but also working with suppliers and with travel service providers, whether it's TMC or other solution providers. And again, explain to them how our platform is open. We see it as a community play rather than us against the rest of the industry. So it's really important to make people realize that we want to build something that others can innovate on and deliver new services.
Right. So you're a travel tech evangelist. You work with a lot of startups. How long do you think it will take for the travel and tourism scene to recover and bounce back to the way it was before the pandemic? Or is that not the goal that they should be setting?
I don't think we will bounce back to what we had in 2019 in terms of how we did things. I do think eventually, volume-wise, we will get back to 2019. We will probably get a higher. 25, 26 seems to be the kind of the forecast that most associations are using. But it's really more a matter of resetting and redesigning how we do things. If you think about how inefficient travel actually was from a management and processing point of view in 2019, the COVID break have really given us a window to go back, start rebuilding, and in many ways get rid of what we had. And that will set us up for much smarter ways of doing things. And I mean, globally, we are short of people right now in the travel industry, which means we have to come up with better technology that can cover the shortfall of people. Because I don't think we're going to get everybody back, and in a way that we shouldn't have to. We should be able to create smarter services with high use of technology.
So we're moving the goalpost a bit.
Yes,
moving
absolutely.
Positions. Right.
And let's say, I don't know what the number is, but we looked at the number of people working in travel services relative to the number of trips. Imagine if we could increase the number of trips by 50% without adding more people to do kind of repetitive manual work. That would be a big win for everybody.
Right. What is the most interesting travel tech trend that you've seen or observed in the last several months, especially since Asia is slowly opening up again?
So first of all, having been here at Web and Travel now for the last few days, there's no doubt that Asia continue to be in the lead, I think, on the mobile travel kind of revolution. Out here, it truly is mobile first. The most exciting thing for me is really how we are starting to see AI technology becoming part of the mainstream service model.
Right.
It's no longer an AI or human. It's now human with AI services blended in.
By default?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think the travel industry is well prepared to take on future crises, if they should happen? Like, have they learned anything from this? And can they use that in any future emergencies or global, crises that happen?
My honest opinion right now is not yet. What we have seen is how bad it can be. But if I look at airlines, have they changed their refund processes for mass cancellations? No, not really. If we had to shut down again next week, I think we would see more or less a repeat of what happened in 2019. I have not heard of any airlines creating significantly improved refund capabilities. The industry as a whole is still managing payment the old way. We haven't moved to instant digital asset kind of clearing. So we are a few years away from really being in a robust position, ready for another mass crisis.
Why though? Because this was such a golden opportunity to create the perfect guidebook. It's a real life situation, real life demo. There's no simulation that can give you this much data. So why is the preparation not up to that level yet?
It's a combination of many things, right? First of all, no matter what we say, travel is still an industry that's partially governed by politics. Governments around the world are defining the framework that travel operate in, and that start with your identity for getting inside the airport. Countries are still relying on national specific identity systems. We could have created a global or universal travel ID, but we haven't. And I don't think any country right now will easily accept another country doing it on their behalf. So we will have the national interest always. Secondly, airlines and airports are still working with very old, outdated infrastructure systems. So until we get them kind of modernized and ready to do things smarter, we're stuck with doing a number of things the old way. And finally, airlines and suppliers, they're back to making money, which is great, but they have a massive mountain of debt that they now have to service.
Right.
So they cannot just invest blindly in innovation. They need to find out how much can I invest versus how much debt do I have to pay back.
Right, right. So we always talk about robust digital adoption in the travel tech scene or in the travel scene, tourism scene, right? Is there any tech you think that's just lying out there that is waiting to be adopted, but the scene is just not picking up on it yet? But it's ripe for the picking.
It's a great question. If I was to pick one, I would say payment technology. The way we are still doing payment in this travel industry, right? It's more or less the same as we did 20 years ago. And just last week, I was at a major blockchain conference back in San Francisco, where I saw an incredible, impressive piece of payment software with 8 lines of code. You can create support for any method of payment you can imagine in your online presence solution. You don't have to code. Just copy 8 lines of code, and you have Apple Pay, Google Pay, you have credit card pay, you have any kind of payment rail or acquire, and you have crypto payment, all in one with 8 lines of code.
Right.
So the barrier to innovation on payment, it's gone. You can do it literally in a day.
And it's still sitting dormant somewhere.
Yeah.
It's still waiting to be adopted. Interesting.
Because for some reason, there's still this association with crypto or digital asset payment that I'm not quite sure if it's okay or if anyone wants to use it. But what if I told you, as an airline, you can now get paid for the cost of 1 cent? Suddenly, that opens people's eyes, because instead of paying 2.4%, you can pay 1 cent. It's quite a difference.
Not 1%, just 1 cent.
1 cent.
Okay. How do you think that the last couple of years have changed us as consumers? I know we talk about consumer behavior quite a lot in this space, but based on your observations, what are some of the major changes that have happened to us as people and travelers?
I really think that for the first time we are seeing a real kind of melding or merger of corporate travel and leisure travel. I know some people call it leisure, or the work from anywhere or digital nomad environment. Right? It's creating a new type of traveler who is no longer looking for an out and back trip. They're looking for a where do I go next kind of travel program, and it's very clear our current systems don't really support that. Because you are put in a box, either you are a corporate traveler or you are a leisure traveler. But we actually need to start thinking about how we service this new type of traveler. The second interesting area is the so-called connected trip, or the continuous trip, or the persistent trip, which means I don't want to have 5 individual bookings when I go somewhere. I want to see it all as one integrated kind of itinerary, no matter how I booked it. And I also want intelligent services to be delivered to me based on what my combined trip looks like.
Seamless travel.
Yeah.
Right. What do you foresee for 2023? We're at the end of 2022. The year is almost done.
Yeah.
What's going to happen to the travel scene in 2023?
So starting with Spotnana, we're building what we're calling a travel as a service platform. And we are well on track to open that up for the industry next year. So I'm definitely expecting a lot of third-party solutions out there to connect to our kind of open marketplace. And that's the beginning of offering corporate travelers more integrated services. I also expect payment to really start being disrupted. I'll be amazed if we don't see a few airlines or hotels experiment with new forms of payment, because the savings are phenomenal. And then I think we will see a quite aggressive use of automated service technology. So this idea of, no, it's good to talk to a human agent, it sounds nice. But if I think of the speed a human can process information versus software, I would rather have intelligent software analyzing my requirements and deliver what I want, instead of waiting for an agent to read through a number of random profile pages and hope that they find the pattern that I'm representing.
Yeah.
So I really believe in automated software delivering intelligent services.
Insightful as always. Johnny, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.